So, you're one of the biggest streamers on the planet. What's the next move? For most people, it's pretty simple, right? You just drop some merch. But Cenat, he did something completely different. He decided to start all over, from scratch. He's literally rewriting the book for creators, and we're going to break down exactly how he's doing it.
And right there, that's the whole story in a nutshell. This isn't about slapping a logo on a basic t-shirt and calling it a day. No way. This is about someone at the absolute peak of their game stepping away from the easy money, away from the hype machine, to actually learn a real, difficult craft from square one. To really get why what Kai's doing is such a big deal, we have to talk about the standard playbook. You could call it the creator merch trap. You've seen it a million times. It's all about speed, it's all about hype. But you know what's usually missing? Any real substance.
Yeah, this really breaks it down perfectly. You've got the old way, right? It's a quick cash grab, you leverage your fame, you send a design to some outside company, and boom, fast money. But the new blueprint, the one Kai is pioneering, man, that's the long game. It's built on actual skill, on craft, and a genuine, authentic connection to the thing you're making.
So, the big question is, how did he even pull this off? Well, he basically had to flip his entire identity upside down. He had to stop being Cenat, the mega-famous streamer, and just become a student again, a total beginner starting from the very bottom. His journey really happened in 3 clear stages. First, it was the vision, right? The idea that he could be more than just a streamer. Then, step 2 was total immersion. He went to Italy, and not for a vacation, but to seriously learn the nuts and bolts of fashion. And finally, the 3rd step. That was the real work. Getting his hands dirty, actually learning to sew, understanding how denim is made, the whole shebang. But look, the flight to Italy, that wasn't the biggest trip he took. The real journey was the one that happened inside his own head. I mean, think about it. It's one thing to learn a new skill. It's a whole other thing to do it in public, when millions of people know you as an expert at something completely different. This is all about the psychology of being willing to start over.
And this quote, this is everything. It's the key to his whole mindset. Real growth isn't about just stacking another win on top of your pile. It's about being brave enough to look like you don't know what you're doing, to ask the quote-unquote dumb questions, and to just be a beginner all over again.
You know what's really incredible, though? He was so open about how hard it was. He didn't pretend to be an instant expert. He talked about the self-doubt, about being worried he'd confuse his audience. Instead of hiding it, he put it all out there. He found mentors, and he documented his mistakes for the world to see. That takes serious guts.
So all this work, the travel, the learning, that inner battle, it all leads to this, his new brand. But VVET is so much more than just a clothing line. It's basically the final product of this whole journey, the physical proof of his entire philosophy.
Even the name, VVET, is a statement. On one hand, it's about longevity. You know, making something that's built to last. But even deeper than that, it stands for freedom. The freedom from being stuck in a box, from the labels that other people, or even you, try to put on yourself.
And the brand itself is built on some really solid ideas. The authenticity, that comes directly from his personal journey. The craftsmanship, he literally went to Italy to learn that. And this idea of community over clout, that's huge. It means he's building this with his fans, not just selling at them. It's all tied together by taking a creative risk and having a real long-term vision.
All right, so we've looked at the journey, the mindset, and the brand. But let's zoom out for a second. What's the big picture here? Why does this story matter, even if you're not one of his millions of fans? Because what Kai's done is create a whole new blueprint. He's sending a message loud and clear. Where you are right now, your biggest success, that doesn't have to be the end of the road. He's showing everyone a path to authentically chase a brand new passion, even when you're already on top of the world.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought, one big question to chew on. Kai is showing us what happens when a streamer refuses to just be a streamer. So, what happens when you refuse to stay in your lane? Because that, right there, that's where the real growth begins.